Broncos start training camp Friday, July 31st, next week. If you're playing the Denver Broncos today, how would you try to exploit them on offense, and how would you try to exploit their defense? Let's go offense first. How would you exploit the Broncos' offense, the way they line up on offense?
First off, I would attack that offensive line, figure out where the weaknesses are. There are going to be weaknesses, whether it's communication, whether it's lack of them working together just because there's so many new guys. There's going to be a weakness someplace. And I think as far as what you do in the secondary, the Colts, what they did in that playoff game was great. Let's test Peyton Manning's arm strength. Let's see how well he can throw outside the numbers.
Yeah, but there was no pass rush.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's clog up the middle of the field, make it very difficult for him to throw inside the hashes, inside the numbers, force him to throw outside, see where his arm's at. That's how I would go into, without having seen where they're at in the preseason, without having watched a training camp practice. That's my immediate defensive game plan.
How would you exploit?
Well, it's hard to go up against a guy that was an all-pro in the league for years. All I've done is observe it for 50 years, so that, and I'm not the chicken who laid the egg. I'm the egg, I guess. But tell me if this makes any sense. I don't blitz him. I don't rush 5 guys. I put people in coverage. I do protect the inner half of the field, if you will. I tend to give away this side of the field more. I lean away from the field that is to his left. Mm-hmm. If you look at his numbers, he's more successful throwing to the right. So I put more concentration on that side. I flood the backfield, and I also cover somebody. I cover the slot receiver with somebody who of equal speed. I find somebody on the field. So I don't have a lot of blitzing. I don't worry about, because you can't get to him. I mean, you can try and hurt him after the play, but he doesn't get. He's never gotten hurt in the backfield. He gets hurt, as you know, when he was rolling out or doing something. Right. That's how he got that injury that Mark Kisler claims is a fake injury that didn't exist, the non-existent invisible injury. But he gets hurt when he's outside. You're not going to get to him. He gets the ball off too quickly. He and Tom Brady, you can't get to them. So I flood the coverage. I double team Demaryius Thomas. I put somebody fast on a young Latimer coming across the field. I try to double cover Emmanuel, and I say, let a tight end beat me for 5 or 6 yards.
I'm flooding the middle of the field. I'm making him throw outside the hash.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like to do that. I'm going to test his arm strength. And I'm also going to rush him on the left side of his offensive line. I might throw a couple of guys in there just to test that rookie left tackle.
Because of the track record of him getting rid of the ball, I wouldn't blitz over and over and over again, but there would be some type of defensive line movement. Yes. We may just bring 4, but you're not going to know exactly what for. To test the communication of that young offensive line and how well they're able to pass guys off and slide around and do the things that experienced offensive lines do.
Just one other point. I paid no attention to all the stuff he says. Before pre-snap, I wouldn't pay attention to that. But I know, and it's more and more coming out, as soon as he said Omaha, get ready, because Omaha means I'm getting ready to snap the ball.
Right.
And if people don't realize that, I mean, everybody, that's the biggest mystery in the world. As soon as he says Omaha, guys are now coming.
Yeah, well, Eli gave him up in the offseason on that one.
And I said,
this portion of the Big Stuff brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports, your source for the original motorcycle. That's Indian Motorcycles. So check out the newest line of Indian cycles at Grand Prix Motorsports on County Line and Santa Fe. And that is Scott on his Indian motorcycle with his flip-flops.